Let's go ahead and tap into your reading. I have some cleansing smoke going on the other side of the room. I have 2 decks that we're going to be using today. We're going to start with an oracle deck. You had mentioned, wanting to just hear any guidance that your guides have for you regarding like your path, and with that kind of message, I like to always enter with an oracle card. And so this is the Celtic Healing Oracle deck. What I want to do is I want to pull this first, and I want to go ahead and read you the definition of the card that comes out for you. I love doing that for oracle cards. I never do that with tarot. The reason why I like to open with an oracle card, especially from this deck, is because it allows your guides to kind of enter us into the reading where they see fit, or with the direction that they kind of want to take. And then we'll use the Secret of the Witch's Garden tarot deck to kind of fill in the blanks, kind of see where things are coming through in a little bit more of a specific way. So let's go ahead and take a look at what wants to come through for you in terms of, guidance from your higher self, from source, from your guides, however you resonate with spiritual guidance systems. I want you to go ahead and take a deep breath. I want you to welcome any guides that you connect with regularly, or that maybe you're looking to connect with to enter the space. I'm going to take a deep breath, and then we'll go ahead and pull some cards. Wow, that was fast. Okay. The guides are guiding. Let's take a look here. We have the Fairy Hill, the hidden world of fairies. This is card number 45. Let's take a look here. I also feel like I'm going to sneeze all of a sudden. All right. If you choose this card, you are attracted to the otherworldly forces around you. These forces, whether fairies or nature spirits, are often the special friends of poets, artists, playwrights, musicians, and inventive and creative individuals of every trade or profession. The presence of the fairies and nature spirits gives the landscape around you wondrous qualities that attract you. While the Celts are unusually attentive to the presence of otherworldly beings who share the earth with us, the earth is sacred wherever you live. If you live in nature, especially in secluded places where otherworldly beings are more at ease, you may be especially aware of their presence and vitality. Quite apart from modern notions that portray them as fearful and meddlesome, the fairies would much rather cooperate with us, especially in sharing inspiration, visions, frivolity, song, and music. Unfortunately, the fairies have become wary of humans, and attracting their support requires ongoing respect for the natural environment and the spirits who dwell there. I love that the cards about fairies have come through, because you, from the start of just your email and everything, you seem to be somebody who is very, very led by and in touch with your soul, which means that you are led by and in touch with your natural rhythms, the rhythms of your soul, which is, it is aligned with the rhythms of these otherworldly forces that we find in nature. And so you could have a very, very beautiful connection to nature. You could also have a very, very beautiful connection to community. Your values go outside the societal norms of, popularity and success and trends and competition and hierarchy. There's a very welcoming, a very inclusive, and a very playful energy that you have. But inside, there's also, like with the Queen of Swords here, and it's 5:05 on my clock. There seems to be some kind of like inner transformation that you're going through that I want to tap into regarding this Queen of Swords. Ooh. We have the Seven of Cups in reverse, the Six of Wands in reverse, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and the Five of Pentacles. I feel like, and honestly, I want to say like I think you've been here for quite some time in terms of this headspace. I think the reason why you value what you value is because you've sat a long time in this Five of Pentacles energy. This energy of like dragging yourself through other people's harsh winters, meaning, helping others through their hard times. And I think it's come from this like generous spirit. I think that you've always had a spirit of community. I think that you've always had a spirit of inclusivity, but I think that you might have gotten taken advantage. I think that you might have seen your spirit kind of gets siphoned by people who took advantage of your energy and really affected your heart space as well as your space of worth. And I think for a while, you've had to kind of undergo an inner journey of transformation and value system shifts and face a lot of your own shadows as to figure out how to tap into these sides of you without feeling like you're being taken advantage of. And so I think that you've had to spend a lot of time in seclusion. I think you've had to spend a lot of time with your own emotional stories and your emotional circumstances that you might have thought were going to turn out much different than they did. I think that you see the best in people. I think that you give the people around you the benefit of the doubt. But I think that you haven't really received the same kindness in return. I think that people either have taken advantage of your kind spirit, or when you set boundaries, they get upset that you've set that boundary. And because you have such a kind spirit to you, when people get upset by you setting your boundaries, it might make you feel like you're closed off or you're a bad person. Or I just get this sense of like you start to see yourself in the ways that people project onto you. With the Ace of Wands, you kind of have an opportunity here to further develop your passions. And I want to take a little bit of a closer look as to what that means. Because, and I don't know if you resonate with deities or anything, but like I'm looking at this card here, I'm looking at the snake and I'm looking at the black nails, and immediately I'm being brought to Lilith. Lilith is all about sovereignty. Lilith is also a very creative deity. She's about freedom. She's about like wildness. And she's got this sense of expression. And I work with Lilith very personally as well. And when I work with her, she always shepherds me towards creativity, but towards creativity that allows the catharsis to come out surrounding some of the woundedness or some of the illusions that I've existed in for quite some time. And so there are storylines. There's with the Seven of Cups in reverse, this is giving me this energy that there are some like emotional circumstances that where you've gotten taken advantage of, or you've really had to do some deep shadow work that has affected you in a very deep way, where you're about to be able to turn that into some kind of art. And whether that art is like a hands-on creation, whether it's your podcast, whether it's some kind of other project, you're kind of entering into, I think you might be very used to like death and rebirth cycles. There's some kind of like rebirth integration that's happening where you're going to be kind of sitting back. And it's funny because I feel the need to kind of like sit back with my legs crossed and just kind of like talk to you like this, so like my head against a wall. There's something about like being able to like sit back in a very strong sense of identity, where you take your deepest heartbreaks and you turn it into some kind of community-oriented artwork. Let's get a little bit more. Tower in reverse. Tower in reverse to me is an internal tower moment. It's an internal tower moment having to do with the Six of Wands in reverse. So this internal tower is having to do with what success looks like to you. You might be in this space, especially with the Hierophant on the bottom of the deck, where your value system having to do with the realm of success is shifting. I think that you're extracting yourself from the worldview that success means that you reach the top or you reach the peak or that you go at things alone. Inclusivity is something that's coming through really, really deeply. And there's such a cool way that this shows up, because in terms of like the art and the self-expression that's coming through here, you don't have to choose something. There's something very cool about you where like any way that you express with intention is an art form. So like whether it is like speaking through a podcast, or whether you are a painter, or whether you're a writer or a singer or a there's like this Renaissance quality about you where it does not matter the medium. If you are expressing in any kind of creative form in a way that takes a lesson from a heartbreak and turns it into a way that you bloom or rise above it, you have abundance. You have success. I don't think that the outcome, quote unquote, of your success is like reaching the peak of a mountain. I don't think it's about elevation. I think it's about immersion for you. Let's actually get some more on that. We have the Two of Cups in reverse and we have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. A big sign for you. With the Two of Cups in reverse, I think we often think of like a romantic relationship. I think of romance and romanticism. Queen of Pentacles in reverse, clarified by the Two of Cups in reverse. This could represent some kind of romantic disconnection that's taken you away from your creativity or your heart space. It's prioritizing romance within another person or a relationship dynamic over romance in life through creativity and your lens of the world. I think that if you pigeonhole yourself, like if you specifically pigeonhole yourself into thinking that like romance only exists in another person, you are cutting yourself off, and especially with this Lilith energy. Lilith is like the first initiator of divorce. If you look at the story of Lilith, she is Eve's sister. She's the one that escaped from the Garden of Eden. She was villainized for it. But Lilith is free. And if you look at romance with another person as the only way to connect with the energy of romanticism, you're cutting off abundance of the heart space, because your first love is creation. In any form, when you are creating, you are in love. And that can involve another person. This isn't about, taking romance out of your life and swearing it off. But if you find that you're having a hard time with romance with another person, it's because your creativity is stifled. You specifically need to be in a place of creation. You need to be making things. And it doesn't have to be one specific medium, like I said, but you need to be making things. And if you are stepping away from your practices of making things, you are stepping away from your practices of taking care of yourself. Because you making things, you creating into the world, is you continuously working with that life force energy. And if you're not working with that life force energy individually through your art form, you cannot access that life force energy in love with another person. And so when you feel stifled interpersonally, it's because you have not created. Either there's been too long that's gone by without you making something, or you haven't been diving as deeply as you need to. And sometimes that requires solitude. But with the Nine of Pentacles in reverse and the Five of Pentacles, I want to actually get a clarifier here with the Nine of Pentacles. Can I get a little bit more specifics when it comes to this Nine of Pentacles in reverse, the Eight of Swords? Interesting. So there is kind of this energy of romance and romanticism coming through for you. I think that you're freeing yourself from a sense of hyper-independence. I think that you might have a relationship with independence where, because maybe romance or interpersonal relationships across the board for you have either made you feel taken advantage or stifled in some way, you might even have like a past life where you might have a little bit of karma where you have been like stifled creatively because of a marriage or because of like a binding of some sort. I'm not like a past life reader, but I'm just feeling this. You might have swung completely to the opposite side of this pendulum in some way, either recently, or you might be feeling this energy of like, I have to do everything by myself. Like I have to be independent. Like I really want to make this independently. As much as you might value community and inclusivity, you might find more value in like bringing other people together than immersing yourself in the people that you bring together. Like you might still feel on the outside looking in, even though people are very important to you. It's because of this Five of Pentacles energy. It's because of the ways that you have been manipulated, or because of the ways that you've like stifled or been stifled because you've been like trying to help people out of their woundedness, that you've kind of taken yourself out of your own joy and your own like creative sovereignty and that like sense of self to help another person, there might be a little bit of resentment there. But with the Eight of Swords coming out in reverse, clarifying the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, there's some kind of freeing of hyper independence. Because when I see the Nine of Pentacles upright, I'm like, ooh, this is like, you yourself are capable of like so much abundance. You're able to turn water into wine. You're able to make opportunities for yourself. You're able to learn and apply your learning. But in reverse, I can see that turning into a little bit of hyper independence, where you might think that your value comes from doing it alone, even if doing it alone is bringing people together individually. Like garnering a community, but kind of staying on the outside of it and being like watching the community. You're freeing yourself from this with this Eight of Swords. You're freeing yourself from this mindset, and it's coming from your self-expression. It's coming from the ways in which you have catharsis artistically, whether that's singing, speaking, writing, again, this podcast, or whether it's some type of hands-on art form. But you are moving towards love. You're moving towards romance across the board within your life, because you are going to work your way towards a romantic life. You're going to be able to see everything as romance. You're going to be able to appreciate like flowers blooming and nature. You know, we're taking it back to this oracle card here. Nature is a perfect example of romance. It's things working in harmony. It's things going at their natural rhythm. It's the death and rebirth cycle of the seasons. You know, that's romance. It's the detachment. It's the acceptance that there are seasons for things, and that even when it's winter, there will be spring. And it's that sense of understanding the natural rhythms of nature and understanding that we are a part of nature. And that when we get in touch with our natural rhythms of creativity and of expression, we get in touch with what love is. And so I think that there's a way in which you're coming into this blossoming, this Ace of Wands energy, this forward momentum where expression, self-expression in all forms is going to really liberate yourself from patterns of being taken advantage of because of your good nature. And it's going to lead you into creative opportunities as well as creative communities that really allow you to flourish as yourself without feeling like you need to step away or be on the outside looking in. And so there's a way in which you're coming into a lot of wonderful companionship in so many ways. And it really, really excites me. Because I think that any rigidity around like, you know, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, what is my life purpose? Your life purpose is just expressing yourself. It's about taking the things that you've been through and turning them into something beautiful, not only to heal yourself, but to help others heal through very similar or even some of the same things. Being able to connect through your differences is really, really beautiful between you and those that you interact with, because the circumstances might not be the same, but the themes of them might be. And sometimes it's not about having the same exact experiences. It's about having different experiences within the same realm that allow for multiple perspectives to create healing for yourself and others. Sharing your story and telling stories and speaking about the things that you've gone through and what you've learned from it, it's an opportunity for other people to be like, ooh, I resonate with pieces of that. Let me apply that perspective, and vice versa. So there's this kind of like back and forth energy that's really, really beautiful for you. That's going to, I think, really reverse this Two of Cups and this Queen of Pentacles energy, where you're going to feel very abundant, where your money and your connections are going to come from kind of like working from the heart space, and really staying aligned with what's true to you. But because I think, especially professionally, I think that your path has a lot more to do with kind of like, again, turning water into wine, you know, taking your emotional experiences and turning them into something even more beautiful, even more flavorful. And I think that's going to really be healing for you. So that's where we're going to go ahead and end this reading. Again, I really, really appreciate your kindness, your patience, your willingness to provide me options and to make me feel as like comfortable as humanly possible. I'm going to go ahead and write up an email for you, as well as put some chakra tools in your email. I really hope that we can connect in the next couple of weeks to the next couple of months, but I also totally understand if the opportunity has passed. So take care of yourself. I really hope that this could help you, and hopefully I will talk to you soon.